Listen for a second. Really listen. There is a kind of woman this world cannot shake. You cannot trap her with confusion. You cannot slow her down with noise. You cannot pull her off course with opinions, pressure, trends, or fear, because the direction of her life is not coming from the crowd. It is coming from something deeper, something holy, something steady. She has learned how to be still long enough to hear what most people ignore. And once she hears it, she moves with a power that does not need applause to feel real. Watch this closely because most people will miss it. She is not trying to win attention. She is not fighting to be seen. Yet when she enters the room, something shifts. The air feels different. The pace changes. The noise loses control. Stay with this, because by the end, you will understand why a woman who listens to God carries a strength that pressure cannot crush, delay cannot weaken, and chaos cannot defeat. And if this message speaks to you, keep listening, because the next few minutes may explain what you have felt in your spirit for a long time, but never had the words to say. You may walk past her and think she is ordinary. That is the first mistake. She does not always look loud, dramatic, or demanding. Many times her strength comes wrapped in calm. She is not restless like the world around her. She is not reacting every second. She is not jumping at every chance, answering every voice, or chasing every open door. She has learned something rare. She knows that not every invitation is for her. Not every opportunity is a blessing. Not every connection is safe. So while others rush, she listens. While others perform, she becomes rooted. While others speak to prove something, she waits until her words carry weight. That is why her presence feels different. It is not pride. It is not ego. It is not coldness. It is alignment. It is the quiet confidence of someone who has already been settled in private. She does not need the room to confirm what heaven already made clear. And that changes the way she walks, the way she chooses, the way she stays silent, and the way she leaves when peace is missing. A woman like this is not lost. She is led. She is not passive. She is precise. She is not weak because she is quiet. She is powerful because she is anchored. And if you have ever wondered why some women seem untouched by the same confusion that pulls everyone else in circles, this is why. They are not following the volume of the world. They are following the voice that speaks in stillness. There is a sacred kind of discipline in the way she guards her inner world. She does not let everybody speak into her life. She does not hand her spirit to every trend, every rumor, every sweet-talking stranger, or every shiny promise that looks good for a moment and then leaves damage behind. She has learned that peace is expensive, so she protects it. She has learned that attention is valuable, so she spends it wisely. She has learned that one wrong voice, repeated often enough, can drain strength, bend judgment, and plant confusion where clarity once lived. So she filters. She discerns. She pays attention, not just to words, but to fruit. Not just to charm, but to character. Not just to energy, but to truth. That is why she can walk away from something that seems good on the outside. She can say no to people who look impressive. She can refuse spaces that celebrate her image while starving her soul. She is not difficult. She is discerning. That is different. And in a time where many people are pulled by every notification, every opinion, every emotional wave, her discipline becomes power. She knows that not every battle deserves her response. Not every misunderstanding needs an explanation. Not every attack needs a defense. Sometimes silence is the strongest answer in the room. Sometimes distance is wisdom. Sometimes stepping back is not fear at all. It is obedience. Keep watching, because this kind of woman teaches something the world forgot. The strongest life is not built by reacting to everything. It is built by listening carefully and moving only when peace agrees. When life becomes loud, she does not become careless. She becomes clearer. That is one of the signs. Pressure reveals what is really leading a person, and when pressure comes to her, panic is not the loudest thing inside. Prayer is. Reflection is. Trust is. She may feel the storm, yes. She is human. She may feel the sting of betrayal, the ache of delay, the weight of uncertainty. But she does not let those things become her master. She brings them into a deeper place. She lets pain pass through wisdom before it becomes a decision. She lets emotions slow down long enough for truth to speak. And because of that, she is not easy to manipulate. Fear cannot rush her. Flattery cannot trap her. Urgency cannot bully her into choices that do not belong to her future. She understands that timing matters. She understands that peace matters. She understands that the wrong yes can cost more than a difficult no. So when doors close, she does not collapse. When plans change, she does not assume everything is broken. She pauses. She listens again. She adjusts without losing herself. That is strength. Real strength. Not the kind that looks impressive for a moment, but the kind that survives real life. The kind that keeps walking when nothing is clear yet. The kind that can wait without becoming bitter. The kind that can hold pain and purpose in the same hand and still keep moving forward. If this is reaching you, do not skip ahead in your spirit. Some of the strongest people alive are the ones who learned how to stay calm while heaven rewrote the plan. Discernment becomes her invisible armor. It keeps her from wasting years on the wrong things. It keeps her from draining herself in shallow drama, meaningless conflict, and relationships built on confusion instead of truth. She can sense when words sound right but carry the wrong spirit. She can tell when a door is open but not meant for her. She can feel when a connection is asking for access it has not earned. That does not make her suspicious of everyone. It makes her awake. She understands that wisdom is not just about knowing what to do. It is also about knowing what to leave alone. And that ability saves her. It saves her energy. It saves her time. It saves her heart. While others are pulled from one emotional fire to the next, she remains centered because she knows exactly what deserves her focus and what deserves her distance. She is not being cold when she says no. She is being clear. She is not missing out when she steps back. She is protecting what matters. She is not behind because she moves carefully. She is avoiding pain that rushing would have created. This is why people come to her when they feel lost. Her words do not sound noisy. They sound clean. Her presence does not push people deeper into panic. It helps them breathe. And even when she speaks hard truth, it carries healing because it comes from clarity, not ego. That is why her life becomes a light, not because she is perfect, not because she has every answer, but because she has learned to hear what matters and ignore what does not. In a distracted world, that kind of woman becomes rare. And rare things always carry weight. Then there is patience, and this is where many people misunderstand her most. They think waiting means weakness. They think moving slowly means uncertainty. They think silence means she has no plan, but her patience is not empty. It is full of trust, full of preparation, full of quiet work that nobody sees. She knows that some things cannot be forced without being damaged. Some doors must open in the right season or they become traps. Some blessings arrive only after the soul is strong enough to carry them. So she does not rush what needs time. She does not grab what is not ripe. She does not confuse movement with progress. In her waiting, she is building, she is healing, she is learning, she is growing stronger in places that public eyes will never notice. The world celebrates speed, but she has learned the value of timing. She knows that delay is not always denial. Sometimes it is protection. Sometimes it is training. Sometimes it is mercy. Sometimes the waiting season is the very place where character is shaped, vision is sharpened, and pride is broken down into wisdom. She stays steady there. She keeps her peace there. She does not let the clock define her worth. She does not measure herself against somebody else's timeline. She understands that comparison is a thief and rushing to prove something can destroy what was meant to grow. So she waits with intention. She prepares with faith. She stands with quiet expectation, and when the moment comes, she is ready because wise waiting did not weaken her. It built her. If you know what it feels like to be in a season when nothing seems to be moving, hear this clearly. Stillness does not mean failure. Sometimes it means roots are going deeper. Her faith is not a decoration she wears when life is easy. It is the ground she stands on when life becomes hard. That is what makes it powerful. Anybody can speak hope when everything is working. But the woman who listens to God learns how to hold hope even when answers are late, when people walk away, when prayers seem quiet, and when the road ahead looks hidden. Her faith is not blind denial. It is tested trust. It has been stretched by pain, challenged by disappointment, and refined in quiet nights where no one saw her tears. Still it remained. That is why she becomes strong. Because every time life tried to make her smaller, faith reminded her there was still purpose. Every time fear tried to take over, faith reminded her she was not alone. Every time shame tried to speak louder than grace, faith reminded her that growth is still possible. This changes the way she carries herself. She does not need to pretend she never struggles. She simply refuses to let struggle write the final line. She does not surrender to hopelessness. She keeps moving. She forgives. She tries again. She believes again. She chooses again. Day after day, that daily return to trust becomes the hidden engine of her life. It gives her bravery. It gives her endurance. It gives her the power to keep loving without becoming foolish, to keep dreaming without becoming reckless, and to keep serving without losing herself. People see the calm on her face, but they do not always see the faith that built it. They see the strength in her words, but they do not always know how many battles were fought in silence before those words were ever spoken. Because of that faith, she also carries something many people desperately need but rarely find: peace that makes no sense from the outside. It is not the peace of an easy life. It is the peace of a guarded spirit. She knows how to step back from chaos before chaos enters her bones. She knows how to let truth settle her before fear starts writing stories in her mind. This peace changes her relationships. She does not cling to people out of loneliness. She does not keep broken patterns alive just because they are familiar. She would rather stand alone in truth than stay surrounded by noise that slowly destroys her. She waits for real depth. She looks for people who value honesty, kindness, growth, and purpose. She is not interested in shallow closeness that disappears the moment life gets difficult. And because she lives this way, her circle may be smaller, but it is cleaner. Her love is not cheap. Her trust is not careless. Her heart is open, but it is also wise. This same peace shapes the way she speaks. She does not waste words. She does not perform wisdom. She speaks when she has something worth saying, and because of that, people listen. Her voice carries calm into restless places. Her presence gives room for honesty. Her patience gives others safety. And when correction is needed, she brings it without poison. That is rare, very rare. In a world where many voices shout to dominate, she proves that truth can speak softly and still hold authority. And if you have ever felt drawn to someone whose spirit seemed steady, even when life was not, this is what you were feeling. Not perfection. Presence. Not image. Depth. Not noise. Peace with roots. Clarity is another gift that grows in her life. Not perfect knowledge of everything. Not instant answers to every question, but enough light for the next step and enough courage to take it. She does not waste months trapped in confusion because she has learned how to get still long enough to separate fear from wisdom. The world is full of mixed signals, mixed motives, mixed messages. Everybody has advice. Everybody has an opinion. Everybody thinks they know the path, but she has learned that if she keeps listening outward without listening upward, she will lose herself. So she returns to the quiet place, again and again. There she finds what matters. There she remembers who she is. There she recognizes what fits her purpose and what only flatters her ego for a moment. This clarity frees her. She is no longer trapped by the need to impress everyone. She is no longer pulled in 10 directions by people who do not carry her assignment. She can say yes with confidence and no without guilt. She can end what needs to end. She can begin what needs to begin. She can step away from places that once held her because she now sees clearly what they were costing her. And when she speaks from that clarity, her words feel different. They cut through confusion. They steady anxious hearts. They remind people that direction is possible. You do not have to understand every part of the journey to move wisely. You only need truth for this step, courage for this day, and trust for what you cannot yet see. That is how she lives. One clear choice at a time, one obedient step at a time, one faithful yes at a time. There is also power in the way she forgives, and this is not small. It may be one of the deepest strengths she carries, because forgiveness is not weakness. It is not pretending pain never happened. It is not calling evil good. It is not opening the door to harm again without wisdom. Forgiveness is freedom. It is the choice to stop letting yesterday control tomorrow. It is the brave decision to put down the weight that bitterness keeps trying to make her carry. She knows what hurt feels like. She knows betrayal. She knows disappointment. She knows the sting of being misunderstood, used, ignored, or wounded by people she once trusted. But she also knows that resentment is a prison that slowly steals peace from the one who holds it. So she begins the hard work of release. Not always quickly, not always in one moment. Sometimes forgiveness is a road, not a switch. Sometimes she must choose it again and again until the wound no longer rules her reactions. But she keeps choosing it because she loves freedom more than revenge. She loves healing more than pride. She loves peace more than the false strength of staying angry forever. This changes her whole life. She stops dragging old pain into new seasons. She stops letting someone else's wrong become her identity. She becomes softer without becoming weaker, kinder without becoming blind, more open yet also more whole. And in that wholeness, she becomes dangerous to every force that hoped pain would make her bitter. Instead, pain taught her grace. Hurt taught her wisdom. Loss taught her depth. And the very thing meant to harden her became the place where compassion grew. She even learns to forgive herself, and that may be one of the hardest victories of all. Because many strong women know how to show grace to others while punishing themselves in secret. They replay old choices, old failures, old seasons when they did not know better, did not see clearly, or stayed too long where they should have left sooner. But the woman who listens deeply begins to understand that healing cannot grow in constant self-condemnation. She takes responsibility, yes. She learns, yes. She grows, yes. But she also lets grace reach her. She stops speaking to herself like an enemy. She stops turning her past into a weapon against her own future. She allows mercy to do its quiet work. That softens her, strengthens her, restores her. And once that happens, something beautiful changes in the way she moves through the world. She is no longer desperate to prove she has become perfect. She is simply committed to becoming true. That makes her humble. It makes her grounded. It makes her easier to trust because her wisdom is no longer performance. It is lived. People feel safe around someone who has been honest with her own soul. They feel peace around someone who has faced herself and still chosen growth. This is why her life begins to carry healing for others. Not because she has never broken, but because she has allowed broken places to become places of light. If this part speaks to your heart, stay here with it. Some of the freedom you are praying for may begin the moment you stop demanding perfection from a version of you that was still learning how to survive. Her patience returns again and again because it shapes nearly everything. It shapes the way she loves. She does not rush intimacy. She lets trust grow honestly. She gives people room to reveal who they really are over time. She watches patterns. She notices consistency. She understands that words can impress quickly, but character tells the truth slowly. This patience protects her heart from false closeness and empty promises. It also shapes the way she handles problems. She does not explode at the first sign of discomfort. She thinks, she breathes, she pays attention. She knows that immediate reaction often creates damage that wisdom could have prevented. So she moves with care, not fear, care. That same patience keeps her from burning out. She does not try to control every outcome. She does not force every answer. She respects rhythm. She honors process. She understands that even growth has seasons and that human souls, like all living things, cannot be rushed without consequence. In this way, her patience becomes strength that lasts. Not dramatic strength for one moment, but durable strength for a whole life. She can walk through slow seasons without losing heart. She can love people without trying to fix them by force. She can work toward dreams without becoming consumed by anxiety. She can endure long nights because she trusts that morning still comes. This is why she becomes unshakable, not because she avoids struggle, but because struggle does not get to choose her spirit. She has learned how to remain steady when everything around her wants speed, panic, and instant proof. And that steadiness becomes a testimony all by itself. It tells the world that peace is possible, that wisdom is possible, that a calm soul can still carry unstoppable power. As the years shape her, she becomes more than strong. She becomes intentional. She learns how to live from the inside out. She does not build her life around appearances, She builds it around truth that changes the way she works, rests, loves, speaks, gives, and walks away. She becomes careful with her energy, careful with her yes, careful with who gets access to her inner world, not because she is closed, but because she finally understands value. She knows that if something is sacred, it must be guarded. She knows that if something is assigned to her, it must be protected from distraction. She knows that if peace leaves every time a certain voice enters, that voice does not belong close. This wisdom is not loud, but it is life-changing. It keeps her from repeating old cycles. It keeps her from betraying herself just to keep others comfortable. It keeps her aligned when flattery, fear, and loneliness all try to pull her off course. And because she lives this way, she raises the standard around her. She does not need to lecture everyone. Her life says enough. Her boundaries say enough. Her calm says enough. Her refusal to settle says enough. People may not always understand her, but they cannot ignore the result. She walks with more peace, more clarity, more dignity, more freedom. She does not chase what drains her anymore. She does not beg for what cannot honor her. She does not fold under pressure the way she once did. And that is what happens when a woman keeps listening. Little by little, the noise loses power. The fear loses power. The old hunger for approval loses power. And what remains is someone steady, wise, clean-hearted, and deeply alive. So if you are that woman or if you are becoming her, hear this and hold it close. Keep listening. Keep guarding your peace. Keep choosing truth over noise, depth over image, purpose over pressure, and obedience over the applause of people who do not have to live your life. Do not let delay make you doubt what was planted in you. Do not let rejection make you lower your standards. Do not let loneliness trick you into accepting what your spirit already knows is wrong. Stay steady, stay clear. Stay close to the voice that brings life. You are not behind. You are being built. You are not forgotten. You are being formed. You are not weak because you move with patience, forgive with grace, or choose silence over chaos. That is your strength. That is your fire. That is your hidden armor. And if you are not there yet, begin now. One honest prayer, one quiet moment, one brave decision to stop feeding fear and start feeding faith. That is enough to change direction. Because the moment a woman truly learns to listen to God, everything begins to shift. Her steps gain weight, her words gain clarity, her heart gains peace, her life gains purpose, and the world around her feels the difference. She becomes the kind of force that does not need to be loud to be undeniable. Calm, centered, awake, and full of light, she moves through life with a strength that cannot be borrowed from trends or stolen by chaos. And once that strength is rooted deep, she does not just survive. She rises, she heals, she leads, she becomes impossible to break.